You want to finish that sentence?
Tengen
Are you
Toppa,
okay?
Tengen Toppa, Gurren Lagann SpoilerCast. We are go.
Go.
If you don't want to get spoiled on Gurren Lagann, go watch it and then come back. 3, 2, 1.
You know something
Okay.
weird about this is I could have sworn you said earlier, and I think you say every now and then. Do you sometimes you just say Teppen Toppa?
No, I said Tengen.
No, this time you said
Toppa.
Tengen, but there's a time earlier where I was like, did this nigga say Teppen? I was like, let me
No, I
if
always
hear
said
it again.
it's always Tengen.
Words are hard
Tengen.
sometimes.
I said Tengen.
No, it's fine.
Tengen.
It's fine. I'm not. It's okay, James. It'll be okay.
Don't make me cry. You know
So
how I get when I cry.
Gurren Lagann was my favorite show for a really, really, really long time. And only until recently, I would consider it to be like in my top 10, as opposed to like being like number one with a bullet, right? Because when I was in high school, I was fucking obsessed with this show, like for like 2 years of my life. Literally, when I was taking my finals, my AP exams in my senior year of high school, I put on a fucking like the fucking rap is a man's soul like song to hype me up for my test, so I could like motivate myself to do well. Like you know, I was into it big time in high school. So I want to know what you guys were like. What was your experience like when you guys got into this kind of thing? Like, what was your
When I
first
got
time
into-
experience watching this show like?
Well, I
Yeah.
watched it.
First off, yours is a story because people screamed at you for years.
Yeah.
Don't pretend like you just watched it.
I watched it once in high school. I tried to watch it once in high school, but I don't remember what actually happened to make
give
me
you
not
time to
like
think
it.
about it. Honestly, I don't even remember why I watched it at first. I remember, what was it called? IFE or something like that. Like there's some type of store.
Fuck. For your entertainment, FYE.
Yeah, there you go. And I remember being there, and like I was in like the anime section, and I saw this like cool looking drill thing. I was like, "What the fuck is that?" I don't remember if that's where I initially got the idea from it, or if that put an idea back. But I knew there was a show called Gurren Lagann, and then like some of my friends who liked anime loved it, and I remember going out and like, I'm gonna watch this. And I liked it for a while, and then I got to episode 8, and I was like, "What?" And like, because I was like, I liked it, but I wasn't in love with it. And I got to 9, and I was thinking about dropping it right there because I liked Kamina so much, and I didn't like Simone being a bitch. Which I mean, like it's understandable. It's just like I didn't like that. Same reason I didn't like Shinji, because I had already seen Ava at that point, and I super didn't like it. And then like I decided like, let me give it a little bit more, and I got to a time skip. I was like, wait a minute, what's happening here? And I continued on, and I just fell in love with it. And the show had been in my top 10 for the longest time. I think it was only after I like absorbed some of Skylar's top 10 shows that it got pushed out. I mean, I just looked at my annual list. It's sitting at number 11 for me right now.
Fucking yeah. So this show for me was the thing I watched almost immediately after finishing Evangelion. Like I remember, and I watched it because of a forum post. It was literally like I was looking up shit about Evangelion online after I finished watching it, and some guy on a forum, I don't even know what the fucking forum was. It was like a random forum post, and some guy was like, "I wasn't much a fan of Evangelion, but it was more just because I kind of like my mecha to be more like Gurren Lagann instead. That's my preference." And I was like, "Oh, what's this? I'll look that up." And I remember watching it and kind of almost immediately understanding that it was like a big deal. I don't know why, but I felt like as soon as I watched the first episode, I was like, sort of had a vague knowledge that, oh, this show was like significant in some way, because it was a huge deal for Gainax and anime at the time when it came out, because it was a huge production, and it was it was like it was like the Attack on Titan of 2008, where it was a big deal in the West and in the East too, in the anime community and shit. And I just remember being so into it, like just like it being like the perfect time for me to watch the show, for it to hit me at all the right emotional beats to where I was like as invested as you physically could possibly be, to the point where I remember my reaction to episode 8 when Kamina died was being not sad or upset that he was dead, but being so satisfied by how fucking cool his death scene was that I couldn't even be upset. that I was just like I was spent, and I was like that was so fucking cool. And I just remember that was like my experience with the whole show. Was just like I was like on the exact wavelength the entire time, to the point when the final episode or in the final attack, I literally jumped up out of my chair and fist bumped in like victory, like I was there too. Yeah. So I mean, so the show is. I guess I would say the show was formative for me. It was one of the first shows like I watched when I was getting into anime, and it was like it's very still special to my heart and soul. Yeah. So James, what did you think when you saw it this week?
Well, tell us the build-up
I did.
to you even seeing it.
I mean, me seeing it was I tried it once in high school, and I don't even remember why I didn't continue with it. I might have just gotten caught up with other things, and then it turned into, I don't know, I just wasn't interested in it at the time, didn't want to watch it, and y'all kept yelling at me to watch it, and I think I held on to the idea that I didn't like it when I tried it the first time, so why would I try it a second time? I don't know. I don't remember half of it, to be honest. I mean, I don't remember half of the build-up.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, never mind. That was the change.
Yeah. Sorry, I definitely need to clarify that. So yeah, I don't know. But my experience with it this time, I binged it in a week. I started it on Friday, so I binged it in 2 days.
Yeah, it's like when I watched it with my friend Austin. We watched the first half of it in one night, and second half of it the next day.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. So I went over to my buddy Cesar's house and at my old house, at my old place, and watched it with him up to episode 13, I think.
That would be
we watched it. We watched it.
It was episode 14.
Yeah. So we watched it up to the end of the first episode of the new arc.
Okay.
And which really sucks. It sucks. I have a very interesting experience with the show because I already knew about most of the cool things that happen. I just didn't have context for them. I knew Kamina died. I knew about Super Gurren Lagann. I didn't know it was from the movie. So when I got to the ending of the show, I was expecting it, but it didn't come. And then I remember that Skylar said something was added in the movie. So I was like, oh, okay, that must be what he meant. I knew about the 2 punches. I knew about
the 2 punches. What do you mean?
The grit your teeth.
Oh
moments.
yeah.
The first big one, and then the
I remember I used to
one.
sell Gurren Lagann in high school as the show is so cool. There's a part where a dude invents time-space teleportation to punch someone in the face. That's the thing great. That happens in this show.
Yeah.
So, and I knew Nia died. I didn't know how, and I didn't know why, but I knew she died. But even knowing all of that, I still went really quiet once I knew. Cesar and I were joking the whole time because I didn't know when exactly Kamina died. I just had a general idea of it that he did. I would always joke every time Kamina was inconvenienced in some capacity, oh, this is where he dies, and it's he got punched in the face by Yoko or something. Oh, this is how he dies, just like that, just instantly. And when I got to the point where he takes a fatal blow during the final fight, I was like, oh, this is where he dies. And I knew it, and I knew as I said it that I was right. And at that point I stopped talking and I just started watching. I just paid really close attention, and Cesar didn't pick up on it right away because he'd still make jokes every couple of seconds, but I would just not even respond. I would just look at the TV, and I watched that moment, and it was really, really strong. I don't know, I didn't have an idea of what his scene looked like when he died, but I didn't expect Kamina to die via a cheap shot from underground, from under him. I expected him to go out in I especially didn't expect an Ashino no Joe reference.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Ashino, the Ashino no Joe 4 characters over the show.
Yeah, I had to point that out to Cesar, oh, that's straight up an Ashino no Joe.
There's a bunch of Ashino no Joe references in Gurren Lagann. The first episode when they run when he tries to ride the pigs out of the thing, that's a reference to Ashino no Joe.
I didn't know that. I only know of the Ashina. I only know of Joe's death. I didn't.
There's a bit in
that's
Ashina
cool.
Joe where they try to ride pigs out of prison. He's a bit where he's right on top of it, like doing the cowgirl thing, and he gets punched in the face by a cop, and that's why he doesn't escape. The fucking every time they do it a couple times where characters will punch and they'll do a cross counter. The way that's framed, that's an Ashina Joe reference. That's like the Joe's counter, his signature punch is a cross counter, and it's always like that where like they both getting punched in the face at the same time.
So when I expected Kamina to die in like a 1 versus 100 sort of way, where he's just outnumbered and he's still going to fight as hard as he can, but he ultimately loses, and that's what incites Simone to like man up essentially and to take the reins. But the way it actually goes down, I like significantly more because it's cooperative. They have that last moment together, and it's the first Giga Drill break.
Yeah, Giga Drill breaker. It's
yeah. In my subs, it was pronounced break, and I actually asked Cesar, like, do you think they're saying breaker or break? And it's like
in the dub they say break. That's probably why it says that. But I feel like in the Japanese you can hear him say breaker, but I don't have a.
It's fine. It doesn't actually matter. The point is the significance of the Giga Drill break as the moment that the last moment that Kamina and Simone share is really significant to me, and I thought it was great. And I thought, man, that's rough. Also, we're only like 8 episodes in.
He doesn't last that long.
Surprisingly,
he doesn't.
That's what caught me the most off
guard. It's like this seemed like a very major character. Why now?
So the thing, I actually want your take on this, right? Because people talk about Kamina. He's kind of, I think he has this kind of weird sort of like perception in the kind of, I guess, fan base of the show that he was either kind of like not a very interesting character, or kind of like a Gary Stu that was like not very interesting, and that's why he died, in the sense that he was like kind of a one-note character that was there to be inspirational for everyone else, and that's why it made sense.
I wouldn't say he was one note.
That's what I say. Is I don't buy that at all, especially because of.
I mean, just the part with his dad shows that he's not one note.
I think that a lot of the context they provide about Kamina actually makes him a really interesting character in retrospect, about how like he has that monologue to Yoko about how his confidence is like almost 100% fake, and how he puts it on because people expect it of him. And then how that speaks to like the overall theme of the show about like, you know, believing in yourself and stuff like that, as being like, you know, like how it's like not always like an inherent like manly powerful fury. It's like something you have to motivate yourself to do.
You gotta grit your teeth.
Yeah. And I really like that as a way of characterizing Kamina. I feel like it's overlooked a lot when people talk about him as a character.
No, I thought Kamina was great. I thought he was just a not just a fun character, but like him acting as like the big brother type, the mentor for Simone was perfect. And you know, I talked about this with Claude briefly on the Discord about like, you know, Gurren, like the punches, the grit your teeth punches are such a good way to show how this anime differs compared to like Evangelion. Like you couldn't swap the methods of coping.
You can't punch
at
Shinji
all
in the face and he mans up.
Yeah,
Hopla to shonen protagonist.
In fact, the show even tells you that when they talk about the aspect of spiral species, where they say they don't listen to reason. They only understand force.
The show's like the line, kick logic to the curb and do the impossible. That's the Gurren way, right? That's the line.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. I feel like they took that one line, and that's what. God, his name is escaping me. It's gonna make me fucking mad. Who was it who like was head of what? No, who was it who was head of Trigger?
Oh, Hiroyuki Imaishi.
There we go. I feel like that's something he took to heart as he left to form Trigger.
Yeah, pretty much. I can see that.
I feel like that you can get a mentality from pretty much any show from them.
Yeah, I see that.
Fucking Little Witch Academia ends with fucking witches on their brooms a superpowered broom going to stop
Little Witch Academia earned its Gynax pose better than Frank's did, and that's a hilarious statement.
Yeah.
To me.
Damn. I need to rewatch it. It's so fucking good.
It's good.
I gotta start it at some point.
Yeah, Aniplex has decided it's impossible. You're not allowed to own it physically. Actually, no, Netflix owns it. That's why.
Yes, they do.
It's because Netflix said that you can't buy it.
Oh God! All right.
Time to burn down Netflix.
Side note: I will never not hate Netflix for seasonal anime. Like I was talking to my girl about like Carol and Tuesdays. Like it sucks to have anime friends who like watch the stuff as it comes out, and they don't like on the platforms only. And it's like I won't have any of them to talk to about Carol and Tuesday until halfway through the show when they finally drop the batch of it on Netflix. And even like one of the pages for anime, like vote for your favorites or whatnot. Even though that was one of the most anticipated ones when they did like, hey, top anticipated. One was like, all right, week 1, which is your favorite ones? Carol and Tuesday was not up there. Week 2, which is your favorite ones? Carol and Tuesday is not up there because not enough people are watching it because Netflix are shits.
Yep, it's a problem.
I just wanted to bring that up because fuck Netflix. I want to own Little Witch Academia. I can't even own the movies. The 2 movies that came out, the short films.
Yeah, the OVAs.
Yeah, the first one. And then
Claude, it's okay though. Claude, it's okay. You can own the game.
I do, and I don't like it.
That you love.
He does own the game.
That shit makes me so mad. Well, it feels like it's so rushed and lazy, and I hate it.
I guess you're just not a real fan then. If you were a real fan, you'd own all of the merchandise, you silly gaijin.
But I do own it.
He does.
Buy product.
Consume product.
All of
I'd buy an Akko figure.
I would buy a Shiny Chariot figure. That's what I would.
Yeah, that's a good one. Have you watched that show, James? I don't think that one's up your alley. I'm not gonna try and recommend, but I'm curious.
Academia?
Wait.
Oh no, God, Skylar,
I'm
stop
sorry.
it.
I keep
thinking beating his meat. We heard it. We heard it.
We got it.
I'm
talk about Shiny Chariot. He couldn't hold it.
I'm tapping the light on my mic because I have idle thoughts.
God fucking damn it, dude.
No,
why
I get it. I know how you feel about Shiny Chariot. I feel the same, but you know, I can wait.
Because Ursula is the best girl, and she's also. Never mind, that's a spoiler. But even though it's obvious, and they tell you in the OVA, so it's not a spoiler at all, but it's still a spoiler, I guess.
I know you don't know who it is, James. I'm gonna post her in DADCast.
Is it Little Witch Academia is going to be on my next?
Really?
Thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the character. That's Shiny Chariot.
You will probably not like Akko. I'm tossing it out there that James is not going to like Akko. That's my James.
Because she's stupid but likable.
That's my James take on Little Witch Academia is that he will not like Akko.
That's a nice design. I don't know. Akko's design is. I like Akko's design. And judging by like the little emotes we have of her, I think they're.
I
cute.
also thought you don't like Moe, like because that show is like filled with it. Well,
I feel like whatever triggers. I feel like whatever trigger is going to offer us from the show is going to overtake whatever. I mean, I'm watching fucking review.
River Starlight is true.
Like,
River Starlight's good. River Starlight is
like
Review
Starlight. Arguably,
Renmei is half
kind of Moe.
River Starlight is half like idol show, and the other half of it is fucking Ikuni
Magic Girl
ass bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, to give you an idea, Claude, I considered watching Idolmaster not too long ago.
Yeah, he considered watching Idolmaster, and then he decided not to because the meme girls weren't in the show. And it was like, what?
Yeah, the ones I was actually interested in weren't in the show, so it's like, well,
Anzu
if they're not in
is
there,
one of the main characters of Cinderella Girls. She's in the main cast, but Sashiko.
Yeah, but like they're not. Yeah, so and that's kind of what the Sajiko is the one I'm more interested in because she's got like the weird thing going on.
She's the one who wants to nuke California.
Yeah, so but yeah, Claude, that gives you an idea of where my head's at now.
Speaking of Idolmaster, did you know the guy who directed Idolmaster worked on this show called Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann and was the character designer?
Did he really?
Yes.
That's great. Speaking of Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, I wanted to bring up episode 3 when they switch art directors to introduce the initial transformation sequence, the henshin, or the combine rather, henshin's transformation.
That was supposed to look like the henshins from what's it called, Obari shows, right?
Yeah, but what I wanted to bring up was I really liked that change in art direction for just that episode. And and I like as I was watching, I was trying to see like how this director differed from the other one. I don't know their names, unfortunately. I didn't actually look into who it was. But I noticed that like whoever it was, they really focused a lot on the accuracy of the lip flaps, but not necessarily how the characters looked comparatively.
You're talking about episode 4, right? The one with like where
is that where they combine? Is episode 4?
3 is the first one where they combine, but episode 4 is the one that has the different director.
Oh, okay. I guess I was mistaken.
Episode 4 is also infamously disliked because people don't like that guy's art style.
I actually find it very interesting. I thought it was nice in a way. I think Simon translated poorly into that new direction, because he like I see what they were going for with like kind of like a 50s-esque look for him, particularly like with like his nose and how it looked compared with like his mouth and stuff. But I really appreciate like the want for making the lip flaps accurate to what the actors were saying, because that's always a thing in anime, right? Like you'll just have 3 or 4 basic flaps for sounds. So when you see the characters actually saying what is being heard from the actor, it's nice, it's refreshing. And I liked that kind of like really rough look to it, and I kind of wish we got a little bit more of that. And we do get. And this was another thing I brought up after I was done watching it. Nobody really responded to it, but I want to bring it up again, was how pretty much right when you start the second arc, all of the fancy lighting effects and everything, and the shading,
really heavy mood lighting in the first arc of Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, Cesar and I were like really like he watches Gurren, he loves Gurren Lagann. He's the one who initially told me about it. And he was like he hadn't watched it in a while. And he's like, oh wow, I don't remember it looking like this. I don't remember remember it looking like an actual like non-trigger anime. And as I'm watching it and I see the change from like more modern, like normal quote unquote anime to specifically trigger style. I'm like, I see. I think I know why people like Trigger so much, is because, or why this is so much more different from the average Trigger show, is because there's this very clear change where you get the mood lighting, the different shading and everything, like the more modern, I guess.
There's like a classification people talk about, the people that sprung out of Gainax, right? Where people say that Kara and Trigger are the 2 main splits, right? People say that Kara took the soul of Gainax and that Trigger took the skin.
Okay.
That's why people classify it. So like Trigger shows like tend to like look like a Gainax show. Like I look at Kill la Kill, I can instantly tell that's Imaishi. He did this. That's Imaishi. I can look at that, right? And then you take like Evan, like guys like Kara who like fully cool in Evangelion and stuff like that. But that's like you think more of like not an aesthetic approach, but like a writing kind of thing, right? And so Gurren Lagann is interesting because it was such a massive production for the studio at the time that it's like the synthesis of like everything that kind of made the company what it was. And so I think that's interesting talking about it, because you can see what was taken in what Trigger kind of applied, right?
Yeah, you look at the second half of Gurren Lagann, and it's like,
yeah,
there's none of that mood lighting. It's all just heavy shading, even harder saturation.
Well, the thing that's interesting is you mentioned the shading specifically, because Kill la Kill has some of that heavy mood shading too, a lot.
No, I know. I know, that's what I mean. And like that's the second half of Gurren looks like Kill la Kill and like other Trigger shows. Yeah. But the first half doesn't share that quality as much.
I guess so.
As the escalation progresses, it gets more and more uniquely Trigger rather than just a Gainax.
The first half has some of my favorite visuals in the whole series, though, to be fair. I fucking love the sequence, specifically 2 bits that will always stick in my brain forever. It's the cut when they're doing the siege on Teplin, and Simone goes to grab Nia out of the window, and you get that like like spinning shot where he grabs her from the window and then it spins behind and you see Gurren Lagann dwarfed by Teplin and then he spreads the wings and he flies. Like that shot is like the coolest shit ever. I fucking love it so much.
Yeah.
And then all of everything to do with the final battle with Lord Genome, like the bit where he fucking punches off the cockpit for Lazengon and then walks out of it to pull Simone out of Lagann. Like that bit is so fucking cool. And it's like that whole finale is like, looking at it now, that is like an incredible animation feat. Because like the art quality is so high, animation quality is so high. It is a fucking like immense feat of animation. It might have been like the most like expensive and like looking episode that Gaia's ever produced. That shit is fucking crazy.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, and I really can't like I won't ever say that like I prefer one like the first half compared to the second half in terms of like an art direction aspect, because like they're very
the second half. That's actually not common. Not uncommon.
I can see it. I can see why people would like the first half more than the second, but I honestly feel like they're appropriate for where they exist in. Like first half, there's like very steady progression towards the final battle, but you're still limited. You're still in one area, relatively, you're on Earth, you're still in the land that you kind of started in. But then with part 2, there's such a leap in scope that, like, I love the fact that, once the idea that we're at spiral energy or spiral danger level 2 is when we get stuff like Simone invents space-time teleportation and all the really ridiculous Trigger-esque stuff that we're used to by now, right? That's great. Like, and so yeah, like once you get to like the second arc and you get all this increase in scope, I like that the art style doesn't get simpler. It just gets
bolder. It's a much more bold art style. Yeah, with more colors.
Yeah.
That's where we get to the space. The thing is that when you're in space, there's not much you can do with lighting. So instead they really focused on like like really popping colors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I said this also, but I really do prefer the way the original anime series ends compared to the movie adaptation. Because I feel like the death of those characters is much more impactful.
Yeah, I agree. I can see that. It really, the ending of the movie is just fan service. Like, look, everyone gets a mech.
Yeah, everyone gets a mech. Everyone gets a mech inside of a mech.
And then you get Super Tengen, Toppa, Gurren Lagann.
A mech inside of a mech inside of a mech.
Yeah. Because remember when all their space mechs are actually bigger versions of the mechs they already have, and they're all piloted inside those.
Yeah, the zoom in of Gurren Lagann inside the other one is so fucking gonzo. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, the inside the ship, inside the Gurren Lagann, inside Arc, inside Gurren.
I think that the hypest I've ever been watching any piece of media was episode 26 of Gurren Lagann, the penultimate episode. The end bit is a thing where simultaneously, whenever I think of that scene where Simone talks to Kamina in the spiral labyrinth, I get emotional. I feel my old feelings coming back up. Then Libera Me From Hell starts playing, and then I get like the blood starts pumping. You get all the fucking bits, everyone coming in, joining the team. The shot with Viral, all he wants is a family. Makes me feel,
oh fuck, that's so sad.
Good character.
He's great.
He's so good. I love him.
Voice actor, by the way. Yeah, you can totally hear it all the time. And then dude, and then you get the bit where like Gurren Lagann pops out of fucking the ring, and you get the final episode with the title drop. Who the hell do you think we are? While the song hits the climax, and like my fucking boner is so like it's like exploding from my body. Like I can't handle it.
That's a clip.
Yeah, dude. Because the thing is, it's like my favorite thing about this show is that I was really worried when I rewatched it with my brother and I went to watch it again with him that I wouldn't feel as happy as I did the first time I watched it. And we finished it while on a plane, and I still felt all of the awash with emotions every time we got to the parts I remembered. I was like, it made me so happy that the show could still make me feel feelings like it did the first time, even though I knew what was gonna happen.
What were the name of the two twins again?
It was Jordan and Balinbo.
Once again, I feel like that is like for me like one of the hypest deaths of like most characters. Yeah. They are fucking losing their shit. They're loving it. They understand like it's gonna happen.
And then when you see their eyes, they're fucking nuts.
But it's okay. They're reincarnated in the Idolmaster universe.
It's true.
What?
Yeah, dude.
No.
They're fucking in it. They're in it as bodyguards. Straight.
You have to post that for me.
So it's an episode, right? It's my favorite episode of Idolmaster.
It's a really good episode.
It follows my favorite girl.
And then it also features the other, like arguably second best girl.
Right, like my favorite girl and my second favorite girl are both in that. My favorite girl, she's doing her own thing. Second favorite is Makoto, and she ends up fighting. Like, so it's clearly just them. And there's a hype fight scene.
I want to say I could be wrong. Someone in the YouTube's comments are going to single me out somehow and tell me that I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that episode was subcontracted to Trigger at parts because it was like really in the early stages of the company that they were being like that was one of the first bits of work they were given because it makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah.
I want to say that if you look up the person who did the cut for that is a Trigger staff member. Let me just find it.
I'm gonna post it right now, James. And
you have it already? I was looking.
Yeah. It's only like 30-something seconds.
Okay. Oh boy.
By the way, tons of Gurren Lagann staff are on Idolmaster. By the way.
Oh! You showed me this. Yeah. Oh god, that's cool. Look at man.
I guess since I'm in here, I'll post the
Jesus, that really is just him. He does the smile
you posted
and everything.
The actual fight scene. I had a GIF of it. I'll just post it. I'll post this GIF, which is actually storyboarded and directed by Imaishi. This whole trailer thing is not all of it.
Sorry, fans who are listening to this audio podcast.
We gotta look at this.
There's a part in Idolmaster where there's a fake trailer for a mecha series, and it's directed by Imaishi. He did the thing for it, and it's full of dumb old ass mecha references. They even fucking reference like Giant Robo, which is like
that's a big robot.
Yeah, so it's like it's super fun, and the joke is that Chihaya is a robot because of a really elaborate meme that I can't believe they turned into a big thing. I'm not even going to try to explain it.
Please don't. Thank you. But yeah, man, I was really satisfied with Gurren Lagann. Thank you guys so much for yelling at me so much to watch it. I was really happy to find that despite the fact that I knew a lot of the emotional aspect, like the emotional moments, that I still got those as if I hadn't.
Yeah, dude.
What was So it was really cool.
What was I had a question in my head and now I lost it and forgot.
Think about that while I ask a question. Now that you finished this, James, and you see how satisfying, like, even though it's like it's a bittersweet ending for Simone, but like it's still like, you know what? Yeah, man, just fucking live your life, man.
Why you're mad about the Darling in the Franxx crossover?
Yeah, how do you feel now about that? Now do you have
that might be fake. That might be fake. It might be fake.
It might be fake. Why? Why do you say it's fake? We reported on this.
Well, we didn't talk about it on the podcast. We actually didn't talk about it on the podcast. Oh,
yeah, we did.
Was I not on that one?
You were probably on, I think.
No, because remember that the week where I posted it, we had this casual cast. I didn't mention it as something I wanted to talk about.
Anyway, what about it?
Oh, I said it might be because it's the website. I don't know what it is. It may or may not be a satire website. I couldn't tell looking at it, but some of the articles seem like satire that are on it. So it's possible that it might be fake. Now you might be saying that you think we reported on it because in fact, the Best Friends reported on it on their podcast.
I haven't listened to their podcast in a minute, so that is not the case for me.
Okay, well,
I have listened to it though, so possibly.
But I remember having this conversation, so it can't be the case.
Regardless, Shame on you, Skylar, for not doing better on figuring out stuff. Satire.
I mean,
you are a
literally
boon to this podcast.
I literally just pointed it out to you. I was not the one that brought it up.
Yeah. Now, weeks later, after I've made a fool of myself to the anime weeb community.
You've done that a lot, though.
Anyway, so yeah, I could see why that would piss you off, Claude. I could see why.
It's really bad.
I was the only one here to finish both shows, and I'm super not wanting it.
There's nowhere to go with Gurren Lagann. That's even the thing, is that there's a reason why there's no sequel. Because what do you fucking do? How do you get
now you're in
bigger
a multiverse
and cooler than we've now we've zoomed out to the size of the observable universe to show how powerful.
No, now
you have Nia become the giant robot herself, like what happened with 02.
Stop it.
Nia versus 02. That's the fight. That's the conflict.
Yeah, but
which waifu?
See, but the thing is that Yoko is the Gurren Lagann waifu, even though Nia is objectively better in every way.
14.
Who would be piloted?
I'm mad that nobody sexualizes the 21-year-old Yoko. Everybody
That's
sexualizes
my favorite
the
Yoko. Teacher Yoko was really good.
My favorite
Yoko.
Yoko is the Yoko for when she leaves after teacher and she has a leather jacket on.
The star bikini?
No, not star bikini. When she goes to break someone into prison, she has leather jacket on and she has big thigh high boots, and it's fucking cool.
Default adult Yoko. But really, adult Yoko is peak.
Teacher Yoko is my favorite Yoko.
Teacher Yoko is peak. Yeah.
I like cool biker Yoko. That's cool.
You like underage Yoko. Don't lie. Don't try to lie on this show.
She does have a great design, but she's a bit too much.
She's also 14.
It isn't. I mean, okay.
So is Violet Evergarden.
Yeah.
I need to put that. I don't know when I need to watch that show. I've been meaning to. There's been so many other shows.
Let's do a let's watch. Okay, you and me, buddy. We'll do it. We'll do it.
James, how did you feel about the theme song drop in that final episode?
How do you think I felt about the theme song drop in the final episode? The question is not did I come.
Now
the question is how many times.
Now I need you, because that one was pretty. You can clip that one also. Can you clip him asking that and right after it attach the audio file of him saying delicious condoms?
Wait, so you want him to say what? How do you want him to say it exactly?
Where he said just now, clip the part where he says, "Did you come?"
Colin, I want you to say exactly what you want him to clip right now.
No, because then you're gonna have him clip that. I'm not a fool. I was saying all this while people were giggling in the background, so it's not clear.
So you want here? I'll hum and you say it.
You can cut out your audio file. I'm not a fool.
Why would I cut out my audio file to make fun of you?
Yeah, why would anyone ever do that?
Also, Claude, technically, I could cut out literally anybody's audio file and not have anybody interrupted.
It's already too late. You've already said it.
I'll just type it. It's fine. Can't be exposed that way.
Look at this coward over here. I don't want to say fucking guns gonna come on the internet.
What was that, Skylar? Was that a podcast title I heard?
He's too afraid.
Okay, you can clip that one too. I'll type it and I'll put the whole thing.
Skylar continues to surmount evidence against himself.
Really too much of a coward to guzzle cum on the internet. My computer's about to die. Oh no!
Is that the podcast title? What? There's like 3 podcast titles now.
There? I haven't been keeping track.
I mean, there's like every quote he said so far.
So what is it?
They're all good
titles. The one about the space pussy?
Oh god.
It's another one.
He's gonna get the space pussy. You can't stop him.
That one was weaker. I didn't like that one.
We're not here to manufacture
podcast.
Yeah, we're not.
We are here to see how much longer we're gonna be here. It's almost 11.
Hey, you're not the one who having to edit, man. Calm down.
But I'm the one who has a life. Well, I'm not gonna assume you two don't.
It's true. I'm actually busy as fuck this week.
I have work in like 8 hours. Yeah. Well, I guess if any last statements before we end off.
The only thing that sucks
the
is
lights in the sky are stars.
Lights in the skies are stars. Fact.
The thing I would say it sucks is it's always the thing I hate the most about like when we do SpoilerCast is it's like well, one we're getting into really late, but I know there's gonna be more stuff that we could have talked about, like maybe the Four Generals, just our favorite scenes, how we felt about like people dying at the ending, because I didn't expect that many people to die. There's a lot of stuff, but we don't have the time for it.
What's the best of the black siblings? Tell me right now.
I don't remember their names off the top. It's been too long.
Brown hair until the time.
I don't know their names either, but the best one is clearly
glasses until the
best one is the youngest sister. Prove me wrong. She has cute fang. She has a cute fang.
The Moe fang, yes. I think it's the glasses girl.
I actually also like the older sister
until the time skip, but then it's the older sister in the time after.
Yeah, because she's a MILF, right? That's your thing.
Because she's pregnant.
Yeah, she has
baby. Having a baby.
She has baby.
Yeah, because she has baby, so she.
Daddy, what's the dad's name? Daiichi, something like that.
Dayaka.
Yeah, that's his name, Dayaka.
Something.
He's cool. He did the giant swing.
Everyone, Yoko
greatest father in the world swing.
You mean I have the best wife in the world swing? Yeah.
It's the best.
Dude, that show is so good. That show is that you should never kiss Yoko ever, because then you're going to die.
You only kiss once.
Yeah, Yoko has a bad habit of kissing.
You only kiss once. That's the meme.
I think no, but didn't Kamina kiss twice? Didn't he kiss in the afterlife?
That doesn't count.
Oh, that doesn't count.
Well, because it was a flashback in the afterlife, right? That was a fucking thing she watched on the TV, and she turned it off. Remember? It was.
Yes.
Fucking.
I thought that was still in the fever dream.
It was a dream thing. But remember,
they kissed.
Remember in that thing, she was marrying Kitan. Remember, and then she was watching on the TV when she kissed Kamina in the past.
Yeah. Man, Yoko has such a bad habit of kissing dead dudes. Oof.
I forgot what I was going to say. I had a thing to say, and now I forgot because we're talking.
I hate how Kitan dies in the movie adaptation.
He does
still.
It's cool though. His death is actually really satisfying in the movie. I think.
It is, but it's like everybody else gets to live. All the big characters get to live, but not the cool one.
Huh? It's like, man.
Yeah. What's the best form that Gurren Lagann had? What's your favorite Gurren Lagann form?
Ooh, I'm just gonna say Gurren Lagann.
The original version.
I like just straight up.
I really like Choginga, fucking Super Galaxy Dreadnought Gurren Lagann. When it comes out of the gun, we're doing the fucking gunbuster pose out of the fucking
the arc.
It's so good.
But yeah, we should wrap this up.
I also want to toss out that. How did you feel about the final attack being the first attack that they learned? Lagann Impact is the first thing, like the fastball special. Is the fact that
it's the best.
The attack that used to beat the final enemy. It's dude,
it's the best.
Like Gurren Lagann, it's perfect.
It's like poetry.
I think about it sometimes, and I tear up in the same way I tear up when I watch All Might do things, where I'm like, you did it. My heart is.
Oh, there's a chapter today. I need to read that.
I'm so happy. It makes me so happy.
But yeah, everybody, that was the weekly Dadcast. Thank you all for joining us this week. Outro music is definitely just gonna be Row Fight the Power.
Oh yeah, Liberate Me from Hell. I was gonna say that it should better be the outro music, or else I was gonna fight you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, fuck. Thank you guys for joining us on the weekly Dadcast. I've been James. It's been Claude and Skylar. We're on Twitter at Weekly Dadcast. We're on Twitch /Weekly Dadcast. We're on Patreon /Weekly Dadcast. We have a website called weeklydadcast.com where you can send us emails, or you can send us an email via weeklydadcast@gmail.com. Patreon.com. Support us with $1. All the money goes towards hosting the website. Thank you, everybody, very much for watching. See you next week.